discussing and really open it up. So again, welcome to the how to use non-pre-priced on a JOC project training huddle number 10. Of course, today is July 30th, and it's brought to you by Construction Services at CPDC in the Chancellor's Office. So taking a quick look at our agenda, I'm of course Jeremy Gummeljack, System-Wide Construction Manager. Just welcome you guys, doing a little bit of housekeeping things. If you haven't yet, please add your campus name behind your own name by clicking on the participant tab. Click on your name and you can change your name right there. Andrew Rivas is going to talk to us about the current 2021-2022 regional JOC contracts. Jason Kang is going to introduce himself. He's our new CPDC JOC guru. He's already stepped in quite a bit and taken over some big things for us. You'll meet John Futch. He's the new Gordian rep. And then we'll start getting into what is non-pre-priced, acceptable alternates, cost escalation, courtesy of Lou Tickmeyer with Gordian. And then in the end, of course, we'll talk to you guys and see if you guys have any questions about what we just discussed or have any other questions. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Andrea Rivas.
Good morning, guys. Nice to meet you. If you guys haven't met me before, I am Andrea Rivas. I'm the new construction manager at CPDC. Coming to CPDC from San Diego State, where I was at for 3 years. So I did JOC down there, and now I'm helping out Jeremy with JOC at the Chancellor's Office. So we have a bunch of new contracts that is ready for you guys to use, and we have a couple more coming online. So we just finished our mechanical JOCs, and we have the hazmat and paving coming online, and we're also going to go out for roofing this year, so those will also be available to you guys. If you have any questions or technical issues with getting access to these, you guys can reach out to us or to Gordian directly to make sure you guys can get all those, and I will drop a link to the page where you can access all these in the chat.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Andrew. And Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we're going to get those JOC hazmats going on Monday, right? We're going to notice to proceed pretty soon here, right?
That's the goal, early next week.
Great. So Jason, I'm going to hand it over to you. Why don't you introduce yourself to the group?
Hello, everyone. I'm Jason. I came from the city of Long Beach. I live in Long Beach, and then I was working at the police department doing facilities and project management there, and was lucky enough to get a position here at the Chancellor's Office. I'm a Cal State Fullerton alum, so go Titans. And I am the new analyst in the construction services department, soaking in a lot. And I guess I'd be a good first point of contact for a lot of inquiries that you're not sure who to send to. I might not know the answer to that, but I can get you to someone who can answer your question. Let's see. And yeah, a random fact, I have a tattoo of the Hulk. I didn't mention that during my interview, but yeah, I got that a few years ago, and I'm a huge comic book guy, and I'm actually more of a Batman fan, but I just love all superheroes. So that's me.
And Jason is I hate to say it, Jason is Arlene Lee's replacement. Even though Arlene is irreplaceable, Jason will be stepping in and playing the part of Arlene going forward. So Jason, thanks so much for joining our team. It's great to have you on board. Ooh,
glad to be here.
John from Gordian, why don't you talk about yourself a little bit there, bud?
John, you there? So Jeremy, I just sent him the invite at the beginning of when you started this, because he was not invited to the meeting. I don't know if he's on yet or not, but we can move this to the end of the.
Yeah, we'll just come back to it later.
Yeah, there we go.
So Lou, why don't you take it away?
All right, so everybody, what we're going to talk about today is what is a non-pre-priced task, because we get this all the time that the contractor wants to give you a non-pre-priced task for a certain item. And so what we want to discuss is how do we define it? So for a task to be considered a non-pre-priced task, it must meet the following criteria. There cannot be a task available in the CTC to accomplish what you're trying to get done. For example, if you're looking for a chrome-plated muffler bearing, let's just say, because we know that's not going to be in there, then it's not in the catalog. There's also no acceptable alternate for it. There's nothing that covers that type of work. There's nothing that's close. An acceptable alternate is a similar or like product that requires a similar installation. And then to make it an acceptable alternate, the material cost would be the equivalent to what the direct cost of the material being provided is. And that means, what I mean by direct cost is the cost before taxes, the cost before shipping. It is the direct cost of purchasing that item off the shelf. And then the taxes, the shipping, delivery, everything else is a part of the contractor's factor. So that's how you figure if it's qualified to be a non-pre-priced task or not. Go to the next slide. So what's an acceptable alternate? When an alternate task is selected from the CTC, of course, it's similar in purpose and function specified to the specified product. It can be considered an alternate for the item that is not present. And to determine if it's acceptable, the PM would take the direct cost of the item being furnished before tax, profit, shipping, overhead, and compare that to material costs. So if they're within reason, I always say if they're within about 10%, then it's an acceptable alternate for that task. Go on to the next. So here's a good example. You got a Title 24 compliant 3-ton rooftop HVAC unit is what they're speccing. Okay, and in the task, in the CTC, along with the technical specs, when you read them, the specified item the specified item may not meet that requirement. The PM may take the material cost of the 3-ton unit. You can compare it in cost to another unit in the existing CTC from that same subsection. So another rooftop unit, for example. And then you take that, and in this case, we had one where we took and we replaced a 5-ton. We used a 5-ton unit that had the same material cost as the 3-ton unit because the 3-ton had a lot of Title 24 needs in it that weren't being met by the item in the catalog, but it's still a rooftop unit. The installation of a 3-ton unit and a 5-ton unit is so close that it's identical. It's virtually identical. So that in this case is an acceptable alternate. And you just take the 5-ton unit and then you document in the notes that this is an acceptable alternate for this item. That way you always have that in the task, that if you deviate, you document. And then that keeps you on the up and up for when you have the possibility of someone looking over your shoulder.
Lou, this story sounds pretty familiar. I think we did this at LA County Internal Services Department, didn't we?
That was where I took this from.
Yeah, this story sounds really familiar. So yeah, it was just easier to go to the other unit, as I recall, and price that way because it was so similar. That again will get a lot. I mean, it'll reduce a lot of the work after going after the non-pre-priced, because when you go non-pre-priced, it seems like it's the easy route, the quicker route for the contractor to go, but it's actually a lot more work, right, Lou?
Yeah, that's correct, because the contractor has to furnish 3 quotes, and then you in turn have to verify those quotes and make sure that they're not putting any profit, overhead, or anything on the quotes themselves. The other thing about the non-pre-price is you don't have to wait for them to get you 3 quotes. You agree on it, and just remember this, that if you deem that it is an acceptable alternate, the contractor is required to accept that. So we can go on. So here's your non-pre-priced task flow chart. So if you look on the left of the flow chart, is the task required? Yes. Of course you want to do that. And if it's not a required task, you delete it from the price proposal, of course. So now, is the task included in the CTC? If you go yes, yep, most appropriate task for the new work, task part of another task. A lot of times this non-pre-priced task that they're asking for is actually a part of another task in the catalog that they're already doing. So that's some of the things you want to look out for. The reason it's not in the catalog is because it's a part of that other task. And then the considerations is, has the correct percentage factor been applied? In your case, your percentage factor is based on their NPP bid. So when they bid, if they bid under a 1 factor, their factor is multiplied by that 1.15, and the subsequent factor is what you use. If they bid over a 1, then it's a 1.15 factor. And a lot of the contractors like to use the NPP because it guarantees a 15% profit. However, they don't just use an MPP because they're not making that profit. And that's the point here. They are bound to that CTC price by the contract.
Because that's what they originally bid on, and that's what, I mean, that's why we selected them.
Yeah, and just a word of advice, when you allow an MPP, if it's for an item that's currently in the catalog, what you're doing is you have just made this an unfair bid because that contractor bid and he took that job away from the next qualifying contractor by winning that. And if you allow him to NPP something that's in the catalog because he's not making money, you just made this whole contract illegal per the public contracting code.
Yeah.
So cost escalation.
Yeah, this is a big one, Lou. Everybody's been asking about this, and I think everybody's kind of wanting to know about this. So let's get it.
Absolutely. I think this is a solution for cost spikes. And at what point do you put this into effort? Well, that'll come on the following slides. So per the general conditions, the contractor is responsible for changes in material and labor costs throughout the term of the contract. So they can't come in and say, oh, this is costing me more, so I need to raise my price. They're not allowed to do that. They've committed to the pricing for 1 year. So the contractor is required to plan for escalation at the time of their bid. They can't come back for additional compensation to cover this escalation.
And just to remind everybody, and Lou, I know you know this, that every JOC contract, regional and campus-wide that we have, has been issued in COVID time, if you will. So the
Yes.
contractors are well aware that materials are harder to get, they're more expensive. So they really should have bid appropriately knowing this.
Yes, that's exactly right. And what's happening, if you have a contractor that bid this in January, he knew that costs were going up, and he also knew that the level of the cost at this time, and it's his obligation to compare his costs to the costs that are in the current catalog, whether they're low or not.
ENR has been reporting for literally the past year the escalation rates of all materials going up and up. So the contractor should know better. So let's keep talking about it though, because I know contractors are contractors. So
yeah, that's exactly right. So for extreme spikes in material costs, how do we handle that? So Chancellor's office has thought about this. We've all thought about this, and the recommendation is 25%. So in the event there's a spike in material costs that exceeds 25%, the campus at their discretion may allow adjustment in material costs only on a work order by work order basis. So the escalation is based on the bid date of the contract. So if they bid that contract in October, let's say October of last year, and they're complaining that that the material's gone up by 25%. First of all, the contractor has to provide the backup. He has to prove to you that material has gone up by more than 25%. In that case, if material's gone up by more than 25% or 25%, he takes and he can back that material cost out and bring it back in. But the contractor backup must be auditable. So he has to furnish from the supplier the cost of the material from the bid date and also the cost of the material now to absolutely give you evidence of that escalation. The other thing that they need to do, this has to be auditable by you, so you can call that supplier and say, hey, I'm checking on pricing. You need to verify this. This is all things. And then also we look at the index to make sure that that's in agreement with the index. So we want to verify this, because any contractor could say, yeah, the price went up by 25%. I'm going to non-pre-price just because they want to. So let's go on to the next slide. So how do you allow for the spikes? So what you would do, here's a sample of a task in Gordian. You can do this in cloud as well. You go in and you deselect the material, include material, and you charge for your exact quantity of what you're bringing. So in this case, 6-inch wide, 16-ounce center, 18 gauge load bearing structural metal studs. This happens to be one of the ones I chose because this is one of the materials that they're saying has gone up, and it really has. There's no doubt about it. So when allowing for this, you would remove that material. You still have the labor, equipment, and everything for that installation, and then you have the contractor provide an NPP for the material only.
Right. So, guys, it's just as easy as Lou said. So when you open it up, when you open up the box, just include labor and equipment and uncheck that material box. Okay.
So always remember CSU JOC General Conditions 5.06. The university reserves the right to reject a proposal for any reason, including but not limited to quantities or tasks selected by the contractor. Scheduling inadequate documentation, unacceptable pricing for non-pre-priced tasks, There you go. And selection of material, equipment, or subcontractors. The university also reserves the right not to issue a job order
What
if
time
that
is
is determined to be in the
I
best
attend the meeting.
interest.
Thank you in the meeting. I'm in the meeting too. But I call him after 10 o'clock.
So guys, yeah, I want you to remember, I know we want these JOC contracts to go fast, but always go back to the book, and you can contact me on this one too. If you guys see something wrong, you can go to the next JOC contractor. That's why we've got, for the regionals, I've got 3 in the north and 3 in the south. If you don't like something, reject it and let them go, move on to the next one every time. Cool. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lou. Now we got time for questions and answers. Anybody got
Jeremy, we do have John. He said he's muted by the program. He can't unmute it. He said, can you unmute him?
Unmute John. Let me find him.
And I think he's the phone number on the bottom, the 408 number.
Oh, is that him?
I believe so.
I was wondering if we could get a copy of this presentation.
For sure, Mr. Flores. I will. I'll send it out to everybody that's on the call right now, and we're recording this one as well.
Thank you.
We'll definitely send it out.
Thank you.
So Lou, it looks like he's actually unmuted. He's got to unmute himself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I can go back up to. Oh. Is that him? John, is that you, bud? I don't know if it's him or not. Lou, we're going to go ahead and start questions and answers right now. Oh, John, is that you?
I'm here.
Oh, great. Great. So we're just taking a look at your resume, bud. Just want to introduce you to all the campuses up there and for the CSU Northern campuses.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. My name's John Futch. I'm the account manager for the northern part of the state for all the CSUs, everything from Monterey and Stanislaus north. I joined Gordian about a month ago, and prior to that, I was doing commercial real estate for almost 19 years. Worked for a firm that specialized in representing law firms in their leasing activities. So a lot of contract negotiation and contract language development, a lot of tenant improvements, and a lot of lease negotiations. Prior to that, I did some real estate software sales for a bit, and before that, I was a senior construction project manager for Jones Lang LaSalle.
Wow.
And I have a tattoo too of a shamrock, but only my mother knows where it is.
That's awesome. John, great to have you on board. Thank you. And thank you for joining us today. So time for questions. Any questions for Gordian or for CPDC, guys?
Hi, Jeremy. This is Joy from Sonoma.
How are you, Joy?
I am good. How about you?
Good, thanks.
Hey, thank you for providing the guidance yesterday in regards to the DVBE. I do want to ask that question, but if you guys are not able to provide an answer, that's fine.
You're in my inbox, and I'm still digging into that one at CPDC, trying to figure out how to get you guys to the to that proper limit at Sonoma.
Okay, so I will not mention it.
No, I mean you actually bring up a great point, and I can actually why don't you ask the question that you asked yesterday?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So my question to Jeremy was, we would like to issue a JOC contract to Outback. So they are one of our JOC contractor. This is a paving job, and I believe the cost is going to be between $200,000 and $300,000. We procurement reach out to Outback asking for their 6% DVB commitment per their contract, because the contract stating 6% DVB participation is required for each job order. And we received feedback actually from Gordian stating overall for Outback, they have met and over their DVB participation. As of now, they have 18% for this job contract. So my question to Jeremy is, for a small campus like Sonoma, and we don't use JOC a lot. So for this contract, we are going to get 0% DVB participation, and our DVB participation for the past couple of years is below 3%, and we are struggling this year as well. So I'm just asking for guidance and suggestions on how to help from the JOC to try to achieve our 3% participation.
For sure. And that is definitely something I'm looking into, because in this case, Outback made it on the regional level, right? They've already made it on the regional level, but we want to definitely help out Sonoma, and I'm looking into that right now. So I'll probably share my response with everybody on this call. I just kind of need to dig in deeper about how I can help you guys get to that 3% DVB for your campus.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Of course. So anybody else got any good questions? Thank you, Joy, for that one. Okay, I'm getting crickets. So guys, I'm gonna need you to sign up for more training. We got a bunch of great stuff coming up. Gordian's actually working on a JOC 101 certification. So you'll go through training and actually get a handy dandy little certificate that says that you are trained in JOC. We're also working on a JOC user manual. And coming up next month on August 27th at 9 a.m., we've got JOC Huddle training number 11, what is considered an immediate response contract. And we'll have ATI and pub construction in the house, and they'll be talking about how they respond to your immediate response needs in a timely manner. So looking forward to, I'll send out an invite for that in the next couple of days. Unless you guys, I think I've already sent it out. Have most of you guys already got it? I hope you guys got it. If not, I'll send it out again.
Yeah, I've seen that one, I think.
Great. Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much. If there's not any more questions, we can wrap it up. And thank you for attending, everybody.
Jeremy, there's one in the chat asking about how to sign up for the JOC 101 certification.
Just we're working that out right now, but I'll do a system-wide email blast.
On vacation for a week.
Yeah. So Jeremy, I can take that. What we're working out on Gordian, it'll be I'm working it out that you can access that training through Gordian Cloud or Gordian through the website, and you'll be able to take the classes and download the certificate.
Great.
Hey, Lou, just want to let you know also that over here at San Marcos, we have a great support from your crew in here with Paige. She will actually make herself available for, like this morning, she gave us a quick refresher training for stuff that, sometimes, you haven't been using the Gordian for quite some time, and you can't find where you put submittals in and all that, or supplementals and all that. So she'll come back and she does a refresher training on those things, and that's pretty helpful.
Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate what, when the account managers are doing a good job, we really appreciate it when we recognize that. I thank you so much.
Actually, I got an email from Bill this morning too, giving kudos to Paige as well. So I will forward that on to you as well, Lou.
Please do, because that really helps me. I forwarded it on to our management as well, so they know that she's doing a good job.
Awesome.
Jeremy?
Yes.
Yeah, hi, Robert Rice, Cal
Hey,
Poly.
Robert, how are you?
Good.
Good.
Hey, back in the day, there was talk about another certification possible process for the contractors on the contractor side for doing business with CSU. Do you know anything about that, or is that a possibility still? Cynthia may remember. We were on the committee together.
I do remember that actually, and it has been in conversations about bringing that back around.
So that's a contractor's training?
Correct.
Oh, cool.
So it would basically be on the contractor end where they would kind of, as a part of their pre-bid, go through a sort of training certification program to get them more up to speed with what's currently going on in JOC. So it's been brought back around, Robert.
Yeah, Robert, Cynthia and I have been talking about that and how we, put together a package that ensures that they understand how to bid properly as well.
Yeah,
Can you guys let us know also when that happening? So in that way I can forward that to our JOC so they can attend those trainings also.
We will run that through Jeremy in the Chancellor's office and find out the legality of it as a prerequisite. That's one of the things that we have to really research to make sure that we can do this. And then once we figure, if we find that we can, then yes, that will be something that we can do as a prerequisite on your contract on the bid.
So currently, I don't know if you guys have seen them, but on the CPDC website, we post all of our pre-bid conferences, and we can't exactly tell who's watched it, but hopefully they watch it, because I know Andrea and I are kind of tired of hearing our JOC contractors saying, well, I don't really understand. Well, it's not that difficult to understand, but giving them the training and making sure they know how to use the book and they know how to use either eGordian or the cloud properly would speed things up exponentially on our contracts. And that's the thing, guys, is that JOC is here to make things go quicker, not slow things down.
yeah, I didn't want to throw a wrench in any works. I just remember we had talked about it, and it seemed like it might be a good idea. Yeah.
That's a great idea. Thanks, Robert. Thanks for bringing it up.
Definitely.
Yep.
I think there's a question from Sacramento, Jeremy.
Yep.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
So I just recently awarded our JOC, our campus-wide JOC. We usually award 3. I have a total of 5 bidders. The third bidder was, we determined them unresponsive. So we pulled number 4 to do the award. The award was rejected because they were saying that we did not give the contractor an opportunity to correct their bid.
To correct their bid.
What happened, it was a 2-part bid. One was online and one was original, part A and B. When we do the reading, the online opening of the bid, so we have the Gordian logging in the result. So in the abstract, they go by the abstract, but we told all the bidders that the official bid result would be after reviewing the original submission. And after reviewing the original submission, the bidder number 3 did not send back all 7 forms. They only sent 1. And per legal, they're saying that we should have allowed them to correct, to resend the paperwork. But that's not submitted on a timely manner. How would you handle that?
Yeah, I would actually throw them out because they didn't submit it in a timely manner like the other bidders did. But
that's what all we are saying. So
yeah.
We go to number 4, but they won't sign it.
Do you want to talk about this morning? I can call you back and we can talk about it more in detail, because
sure.
I want to get the whole thing, and then I'll probably pull in Jason and Arlene as well to fully vet this, because that's that's the whole purpose of accepting the bids. And we were kind of much like the rates that they bid on. That's that's what we expect from them. So if you can't get it right the first time, that it could actually lead to other problems as well. So are you available this morning? Actually, I'll connect with you as soon as we're done here.
Yes, just do me on Zoom because I'm working from home.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Bye-bye. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Leo.
Thank you.
Well, great. We got some great questions that I still need to answer, it looks like. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Thanks again for attending. And if there's no more questions, we'll wrap it up. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Thank you, guys.